Fighting. Where there are two children, there are going to be a fight. Unless you teach them to solve their problems, to communicate, and there will be a fight. In the McDaniel discipline system, I have one rule: you sit if you hit. So a child will go to the penalty box if he or she chooses to hit. I had a call from a mother one day, and she said, listen to this one. My son went over, hit his sister, smiled at me, and then walked over and sat in the penalty box. What do you do with this one, wizard? Well, I go back to Officer Clancy. And Officer Clancy is in my boot camp videos, if you haven't seen it before. But the point in Officer Clancy is when it costs too much, a child will change his or her behavior, right? So it didn't cost enough. So I said the first time he does it, it was 5-year-old, 5 minutes in the penalty box. The second time he does it, because he will do it again because he was getting her attention by doing it, it's 10 minutes. The third time, it's 20 minutes, double each time. Actually, we got him at 10 minutes. 10 minutes is a long time to sit and be quiet. And once his mom said to him, each time you do this, the time's going to double. Then he chose to change the behavior because it cost too much. He was in a consequence that's boring, but didn't harm him at all. If you walk into the room and two children are fighting, instead of asking the question or screaming, who started this, and watching a lying contest, you have a simple rule. When you play together nicely, you get to stay together. When you don't, you don't. So you take your toys and you go in that room, you take your toys and go in that room. You split them up, half an hour. Not a long time, half an hour. You're making a point. When you play together nicely, you stay together. When you don't, you don't. When children are able to write, they can write, and they come to you and they're both crabbing and they're blaming each other, give each child a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil. Send them to 2 different places. Have them write down what happened. When their stories match, they're done. I'm going to leave time for you to laugh, because once you get this, talk about hating something. They hate this one. You'll hear them in the other room. No, don't go to her. She'll make us write those papers. Well, that's what you want. You want them to solve their own problems. Now, when they bring the papers to you, what they usually will do in the first time is blame each other. And you go, nope, you know what? Those don't match. Well, I don't know what to write. You just look at them and say, I wasn't there. You need to write down what happened. When your stories match, you're done. Go back and write again. It doesn't have to be the words that match, the concepts that match. But they hate to do this. Does it hurt them to do it? No. And it invites them to solve problems by communicating, rather than constantly coming to you and haranguing you and getting you to do the impossible, which is to figure out who started what. One of my other techniques is to get a piece of paper and write 3 words on it. Problem, rule, solution. Again, this is probably for a 4th, 5th, and 6th grade age child, not for the younger children. They write problem, what happened. The crux in this is the child can only start with the word I. So if he was tripped and he hit somebody, then he can only say, I hit John. He can't say, John tripped me first and I hit him. I hit John. Why? Doesn't matter what happens to you. You're responsible for your own choices. I hit John. What's the rule? No hitting, no tripping, whatever the rule is. We're kind to each other, whatever the rule is. Then the solution is, if this happened again, how would you handle it differently? So if John tripped you, in this case, then you would walk around it. You would say, it's not kind to trip me. You would go out of the room, but you would not retaliate and hit, because if you do, you'll be back writing this paper or having another consequence instead. Problem, rule, solution. This is an excellent technique for the schools. Again, children hate doing it, and it invites them to make a different choice than fighting as a way to solve a problem.